G'day, swingers! Welcome to Macca'S Old School. First episode. It is Sunday the 25th of July. Week 4 of our lockdown. Welcome! Okay, what's Macca'S Old School? Well, it's a mixed bag. It's non-politically correct, controversial, and a little bit funny. And that's what we're hoping for. We're trying to veer away and get people to sort of look positive at things again instead of all gloom and doom. And don't go out. Don't talk to your neighbour. Stay in. Lock yourself in the boot. Lock yourself in the toilet. So anyway, we're talking about the state of the world. We're going to talk about everything. I'm Macca. I'm 50. We'll say I'm 50. And I've had a couple of different jobs, been around a little bit, and I'm extremely non-politically correct. I'm technically disabled. And we're going to have a little chat. We're going to try this on this platform, and we're going to try and have a few laughs, a couple of giggles, you know. Really, I mean, everyone's talking about the Toyota coronavirus. We're not going to do it. We'll talk a little bit about it to get it out of the way, but we want to talk about stuff from old school in the 70s, 80s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, when shit was still good, basically. These days it's all gloom and doom, and we want to have a laugh and we want to make things a little positive. Why can't we be positive again? Everything's so bloody negative, you know. Don't talk to your neighbour, you might get Toyota Corona. Don't do this, same thing, Pavlova virus, it's here to stay, it's terrible. We're in Sydney, we're in week 4 of lockdown, and I don't think we should lock down. Let's lock down for 10 years. Fuck it, let's just lock down for 10 years. But anyway, so we're going to talk about all sorts of different things. If it takes off, I've got lots of weird and wonderful people I know. I'd like to have a few guests. If you want to send in any questions or ask me any questions and say, listen, you little prick, you know, I don't like the sound of it, that's fine. Because I can tell you I've been called a lot worse than a prick. So I've got broad shoulders. I don't get offended easily. Everyone gets offended these days. It's a big thing. It's a flogged word. It's a big thing, offended. That word's a big thing too, isn't it? Everyone's offended. I feel really offended, and I'm really belittled at what you said, and I'm really upset at what you said. Well, stiff fucking shit. I mean, really, just get over it. People, you know, people don't like me. A lot of people don't like me. But, you know, hey, I don't care. Just get over it. I mean, the truth shall set you free. There's not a lot of truths going around these days. So, but anyway, if we take off, we're going to have lots of laughs. We're going to talk about all sorts of shit. And there'll be some talk of politics and Toyota Corona. I don't want to saturate it on all of that. I want to hear your stories and what was some funny shit, you know, before Australia got infected with not only Toyota Corona, but this virus called political correctness, which I believe has destroyed the Western world, pretty much, not the whole bloody world. There is one or two things that have come out of it that are good, political correctness, and then there's, you know, several other billion things that aren't good. And I'd like to talk about the old days, you know, when you could just say what you wanted to and had a good time. Now, right, who am I? Well, you know, I'm not into myself, like talking too much, so I've had a lot of different jobs. I'm 50 and I've travelled a little bit in the States, travelled a bit around Australia, did some weird and wonderful shit. Hated study. So, yeah. Just tried a whole lot of different stuff. I just hated study. I was into the life study. I've hung off buildings. I've worked with dead people. I've done all sorts of things. I did a stint in the army, and I've worked for some good guys. Oh, sorry about that. And I've worked for some bad guys. So we just, hey, ring up. Tell me, talk to me what sort of stuff we're going to do. Like I said, we've got guests. I know lots of weird and wonderful people. First guest coming up in a couple of weeks is the wonderful Chef Nick, who has travelled the world and was actually in Wuhan when that whole mishap, should we call it a mishap? An intentional mishap, whatever it may be, started. And he's got some interesting stories too. So he'll be coming up in a few weeks if they decide to pick us up and listen to my dribble. We'll have old sayings and expressions. There's no political correctness here. If you want to talk about how your dad left you in the pub car park for 6 hours while you just had to quickly run in and talk about a bloke, about a dog, something like that, that's fine, because I went through that experience. There's only so much lemon squash you can drink, and so many fucking potato chips you can eat. But yeah, if you want to talk about any of that stuff from the 70s, walking past McDonald's and celebrating, or because you never got there, it was a privilege, it was a treat. You'd sort of walk past McDonald's and get half a mongrel. You were so excited, but that's half an erection for as you would. God, you'd flick for the old Kmart catalogues and stuff. You sort of go on knickers. That's another show. But once you're in your teens, I mean, it's any slight movement or vibration, you're off. But that's another show. But that's what we are. We want to have some fun. We want to think positive instead of stay inside. Don't do anything. I want to get those barcodes on the toilet. We could get them on the toilet. That way we could click in. Or was it maybe we could put 2 clicks for a poo and 1 click for a wee, and that'll go straight through to Canberra. So know what you're doing, whether you're doing a poo or a wee, and then click out. Things like that. Click in for a shower. Click in. Just keep clicking in. Whatever you got to do. Click in to watch TV, click in to do everything. So we'll get one of those at home. We'll get one on everyone's toilet in Australia, so everyone can bloody click in and we'll know exactly what's going on. So anyway, that's what we'll be doing on Macca'S Old School. If you want to talk about your car and this, and you don't just have to be an old fart like me, you can be any age. I mean, get into it. You can ask me any question and I'll answer it. Now, we live in a democracy, or a pretend democracy, whichever way you want to think of it and do it. These are my opinions, no one else's. And a lot of you will go, well, what a fucking idiot he is. You could be right, but they're still my opinions and I'm entitled to them. So, and that's the way it is, travels, fun times, jobs, bad times. Well, lately it's bad times. We're in 4 weeks of lockout now, and God knows how long that's going to go on. I think the pollies are learning the same as all the rest of us. I mean, they don't really know what's going on. We don't really know what's going on. I think they have the big picture of what's going on. Hang on, sorry, 1 sec. Cherry ripe. Now, there's another something when you're 50 and over, you get shit caught when you eat. And I hate that. And I never had that. It started sort of early 30s. You have a cherry ripe and you sort of got to spend, 20 minutes in your fucking teeth. It's like an operation. Pick, scalpel, get all the shit out of the gaps because your teeth start to recede. Your hair recedes. Your bum recedes. Everything recedes. You know what I mean? It's like a Hollywood film set. As you get older, you just keep propping that shit back up. Don't we all wish we had an airbrush? Fuck. Anyway, so that's what Macca'S is going to be about. Everyone's sort of talking about Toyota Corona, Pavlova virus, whatever you want to call it. Thank you very much, Zing. And I don't want every episode to be about that. I want to talk about some fun shit from years ago. I want to talk about when Australia was great. It's still okay. I'm a Sydney boy from Australia. And just talk about some old times when things were really good. I want to talk about when I got flogged at school. And beaten up by some of the kids, but flogged mainly from the teachers. But every flogging I deserved. And one hates to brag, but I had a pretty good tally on the old cane there, I tell you. And do you know what? I deserve the cane. I take responsibility for my own actions. When I chucked that brown eye years ago, and the police talked to me about that, that was my fault. You know what I mean? I took responsibility for my own actions. I got in the shit, When I told my corporal to fuck off years ago, I took that on the chin, and I wore 3 days of RPs. But anyway, it was a bitch. But we need to take responsibility. So you don't shoot someone in the leg, and they drop down with blood, throw the gun down, and go, "Oh, it's nothing to do with me. I don't know what you're fucking talking about. I take no responsibility." Well, you did, motherfucker. You shot him in the leg. So, you know. Oh, we swear a bit on this show too. Did I mention that? What was my little thing? It was non-politically correct, controversial, and a little funny. And we're hoping we're going to be a little funny, but we need a little funny. Fucking hell, look at the state of the world. We need a little funny. Since the whole coronary thing, everyone's become a cop. What's going on? Everyone's a deputy or a sheriff or a marshal. You took your mask off. Well, I can't drink the fucking coffee through the mask. You know, I suppose it'd act as a sieve or some sort of strainer. But I have to move it to the right a little bit. Do I believe in the Toyota Corona? Absolutely. Do I believe Zing did it? Absolutely. Do I believe you have to wear a mask? Yeah. You know, I'll comply. I'm not a big fan. I'll comply. So I don't believe it's fake. I believe there's a hell of a lot we don't know about it. There's a hell of a lot the police aren't telling us about it. Something's going on. I'm not anti-lockdowns, but I think this one's fucked up. I think we should have contained it, old Gladdy, in the east. I mean, I'm not going to criticise the hell out of it because it's easy for us to be armchair experts. Aussies, English, us Poms and Aussies, we're all good at it. Have they done a great job? They've done an okay job. They're doing the best they can, I guess. I'm probably more right than left. That's a wing. But it doesn't mean that, I'm going to preach about that too. I'll talk about controversial stuff down the track. If you want to talk about the states a bit, I will, and give you my opinions. But I'm not going to saturate the fucking every day with it, These are just, as I said, my views. But I think Maury needs to stand up in Australia a bit more and let the premiers know that you're the premier of the state. It's not your own fucking country. You know what I mean? We're talking about putting walls up between Victoria and Sydney, and Chairman Dan was talking about that, and at the moment Chairman Gladys. I mean, everyone needs to calm down a little bit, and you still should have one guy running the show. I've got to reposition. My left cheek was going a bit numb. Yeah, you've got to have one person running the show, and yes, you've got premiers of states, but you didn't hear him as much when I was a young fella. I mean, we had old Nifty Red. It was crooked as a dog's fucking hind leg, and everyone knew that. Full on crooked, as long as you had a bit of a cash in the old envelope, you could get things done. And in some ways, it wasn't such a bad idea, but these days, you've got everyone knows everything. I think Australia's the most over-governed bloody country in the world. You've got councils telling us what to do. Don't touch that leaf. Don't touch that tree. Don't touch that twig. And I think we should, apologise. Apologise for being white. I'm Caucasian. I'm sorry about that, folks. Privileged. My ass. But anyway, yeah, let's apologise, and really sorry about that. I think councils should stick to what they're good at doing, and that would be emptying the garbage and taking bribes, wouldn't it? I mean, fuck, just stick to what you're doing, councils. And ease off with the fucking trees. I mean, if you buy a property and you own it and you own the tree, you should be entitled to cut the fucking thing. If it's making mess, cut it. If it's over power lines and dangerous, despite what they say, cut it. They'll say, that's not dangerous. We'd come down and took out a fucking 3-bedroom house. Well, as I said years ago, it's definitely not dangerous. Well, I think it is. Can you put that in writing? They seem to scurry like the roaches when you turn the lights on. They just fuck off. So you don't want to put that in writing. Oh, so you do think it's dangerous? You don't want any liability there whatsoever. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, my next episode, if we get through, I want to talk about the classic 70s trip to the beach and the old XC, Bondi. A thrilling day. Before the pipeline went out 3Ks. Okay? Yes, as a child it was frightening. There was two really bad things if you saw your parents, well, two or three, saw your parents naked. It was frightening. Having sex, my God, you'd be in therapy for fucking months. And also that floating Mars bar at Bondi. And I had personally experience with that. And it was frightening. It was frightening. But we'll talk about that in the next episode. But yes, so please, we're going to hopefully have guests. You can ask questions. You can call me a prick. That's fine. Because if you call me a prick, I know someone's watching or listening. Not watching. It's a TV, sorry. Listening. And yeah, so that'd be great. So I don't want to talk about Toyota Corona all the time. Like I said, we talk a little bit about tonight. The world's in the shit. The world's in the mess. We don't need frightening. We need positivity. We need some fucking laughs. You know, have a few laughs, for God's sakes. Things like this, you know, it's so bad, it's so bad. Don't talk to your neighbours. You'll probably get corona. And I've had one vax. I had the Astra, and I'm having the other Astra in about 5 or 6 weeks. You know, and I'm hoping, 5 or 6 weeks, or at least by Christmas, we should be out of lockdown. So, I mean, if we're not, let's just lock the fucking joint down forever. Let's just lock down, bunker down. We could start World War II, putting bunkers in our backyard again. That'd be cool. We might as well make a billy cart as well. What the fuck? A bunker and a billy cart and an episode of The Sullivans. Anyway, so we're going to have a bit of fun. This is just a bit of an introduction. This one, I'm, as I said, Macca. That'll do fine. And I'm 50. And I'm here to have some fun and talk shit. I'm here to do some positive shit as well, but I'm happy to talk about world issues, but not all the time. Let's have a little fun. I'm happy to talk about how the States is in a complete disaster. Everyone thought President Trump was the Antichrist, but that was something CNN pulled off, wasn't it? But yeah, they're regretting it now, I think. Regretting it now. Always remember there's a difference between patriotism and racism. Anyway, things seem to be going good. This is actually working. My technical manager, her name's Miss Sherry. She's actually my girlfriend. And yeah, that's looking like it. Now it's working well. She's teaching me all this because I'm technically disabled. I'm registered. I've got a card. It's on my a car at the front of the car saying he's technically disabled. And a fucking idiot, and I have that, and she helps me with it. So Miss Sherry, real name Sorichimed. My girlfriend's Mongolian. Her name's Sorichimed Batsuk. She sounds like Russian. She talks like Russian, but no, she's very good, and she's helped me out a lot. So there you go. All right, yeah, no, it seems to be working fine. Well, thank you for joining us for the first introductory episode. Let's have a chat. Let's have some fucking laughs. Let's not be politically correct. And let's talk about some old times, whether it be 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, or just some funny shit. You know? We don't have to talk everything. Corona, fucking Corona. You know? Don't let Xi win. Let's just fight on. Forward undeterred, swingers. Forward undeterred. So thank you for joining me, and I'd like to thank the at least 2, possibly 3 people I know that were listening. And hopefully we can increase our circulation to 12 people before you know it. All right, guys. Thanks very much. Talk to you soon, hopefully. And be safe. Take care. Be safe. Don't do anything bad. All right, swingers. It's Macca live from the studios at Macca'S Garage in Sydney, and we'll talk to you real soon. Take care. Bye.